Really should make some kind of script. Introspective. You've heard me say it a lot. Emotionally stunted people don't have it. It's complex thought. Spoilers. And it's just self-evaluation. I mean, it's very complicated to an emotionally stunted person, but to understand a thing, you must understand its nature. It's the nature of the malignant narcissist. So, I remember this shit with Stu. Any of the church leaders, I don't really care. You pick one, this is their psychology. They believe their emotions, thoughts, and everything else come from a higher being. They're not theirs, because that's dissociative, like, disorder. They're disassociative from their own thoughts, and they're disassociative from their own emotions. And that happens from trauma. That's happened when they were raped, okay? You stop feeling your emotions, so they can't hurt you. Now, this is where the alien brain comes from, or God brain comes from. It's not, once again, it's not, this is normal psychology. I remember having a back and forth with Stu, and Stu just trying to explain to me that his thoughts come from the divine. And then, it wasn't just him, those other people I was talking about, when they hypnotized me, they tried to convince me free will wasn't a thing. And I think you can hypnotize people into believing free will isn't real. And, I'm here to tell you it is. But if you believe it's not, it doesn't exist. But if you know it exists, then it exists. And this whole thing originates from your free will comes from like the middle part of your brain and radiates back, allegedly. But I like fat chicks. Yep. That's what I have to say about that. If you don't understand, if you know, you know. If you don't understand, you don't understand. And if you're a malignant narcissist, you're not gonna understand that. Now, my core emotion is hatred, and I remember the malignant narcissist at the church kept getting their envy confused with my hatred because they don't know what it is. To them, envy is every emotion. Okay, remember when I was talking about when I was a kid, I thought frustration and anger were all the same? No, no. To them, envy is love. To them, envy is caring. To them, envy, their core emotion is envy, and it's kind of funny because we're seven deadly sins. Wrath, hatred is a sin, and envy is a sin. And I would argue that in that form, we were always kind of butt heads because we have two separate fuels for our emotions. It's amazing how powerful envy is, but I think even in the Bible, envy is one of the most powerful emotions, sins you can commit. And these people's core emotion is envy. But I was watching some videos on Introspective, and I thought to myself, let's wind this back a bit, not get too far ahead of ourselves. And see if we can't see something we didn't see before. Because all these thoughts I had, my hatred of the church and everything, came from when I had a destroyed brain. Yes, they destroyed my brain, and then obviously get mad when you say stupid shit because they made you stupid. They're imbeciles. They can't learn. Now, the entire time during this entire court process, everyone was trying to manipulate me because they had destroyed my brain, but they still couldn't get me to do what they wanted. They call that free will, by the way. Looking at you, church guys. Even Blondie couldn't get me to date the ugly wife. Like, they call that free will, Blondie. So, let's take a look at this. During the court case, there was this one weird moment toward the end where basically the church had lied and lied and lied and lied and lied, and they backed themselves into a corner. It was a losing fight, and their lawyer was just trying to draw the case out for as long as he could, so they couldn't be held accountable for their actions because they don't do accountability. And during that process, one of the things that I thought was the biggest lie, which actually might be a truth, I know that from my own experience, is the president said he is the victim. And he's the victim of his own religion. And I still remember Gannon, Stu, Fred, all the other church leaders, even the guys I talked to on the phone, kept telling me they were the victims. And one of the things they did appreciate about what I said about the analysis of their psychologies and why they kill people, knock their teeth out, and make hair and teeth wreaths, that entire thing, I said that they were lonely. And that radiated with them. Because you gotta think, they can't connect with people on an emotional level, and they can't connect with anybody, so they murder them and then pretend to have them forever. And it is pretend, because LSD gives you good image memory. Like, they live in an imaginary world. So, and I remember Gannon expressing to me that he lives in his imaginary world with all the women he murdered, and they love him because he murdered them. Which, no, doesn't work that way. Clown. And there's a bunch of inconsistencies. I guess the best advice, the blue-eyed guy and the just tell him you're jealous. Like, to a stoic, emotions are garbage. So even if I'm jealous, it doesn't matter because I don't care. The same way when I'm scared, I don't care. That's emotional control for you right there. Probably something beyond that of them, because these creatures only care about how they feel. And I call them creatures because they're not. I don't consider them human beings. They're not. They're underdeveloped. So let's say these people are the victims of their own religion. And I remember when I was president, the wives kept telling me if I didn't do certain things, they'd kill me. The shit with Pastel Bunny, where they were like, if you don't kill her, we'll kill you. Like, in this other shit with they don't do compassion or sympathy, and the way they say that is in their made-up language. They go, oh, those words don't exist in our language, therefore we don't care. And I was just, dude, that's some 1984 crap right there. Oh, our made-up language doesn't have those words in it, so therefore it doesn't exist. You'd get punched in the mouth if you said that without an army of idiots to back you up. So, under the threat of death, like, so let's say that these people actually are the victims and everything, okay? And let's make an assumption that they haven't murdered my ass, because there is something I can do and there's something they want me to do. And let's make an even further argument. They were manipulating, lying, and trying to force me to do something and failing. But I always think, gotta remember, the Utah Angels, they tried to humiliate me and they ended up humiliating a bunch of other people who made sure I didn't go to court because they didn't want to be humiliated. I would argue malignant narcissist or spite brain. So I would argue somebody was trying to spite me and they thought it was a good idea. I had a conversation with Anal Eaton Mummy God, and he was like, well, we were talking about the presidential pardon and how I don't understand they're the victims of their own religion. And I just ignored him. I didn't care because all malignant narcissists believe they're victims. So I was just like, whatever, I'm not helping you people. Like, you're not the victims. And we are. And so in that thing, they were like, we'll use your presidential pardon, get out. And then I was like, and I'll ask for a list of all your names and tell the world what you people did. And I would argue, because I said that the Utah Angels Court, when they messed with my mind to mess up private and public, they turned me into a spite-brained retard, and I made all those bad mistakes during that legal battle. I would argue that was them trying to teach me a lesson, but then at the same time, trying to force me to pull the perjury so that they could get out. Because remember, I'm tired of being a white superior being. That was an actual conversation I had with one of these people. So, once again, this is what happens when you want it both ways. You want to stick it to Bobby. You want Bobby to help you. You need to pick. You don't get it both ways, you 2-year-old. So, let's say that some idiot in their spite brain, because spite brain is how retards think. I'm going to stick it to him. And like I said, my dad almost got his entire family killed trying to stick it to somebody. My mother and father spent their entire lives trying to ruin the other person's life. because they're spite brains. That's what spite gets you. You literally cut your nose off and you think you're teaching somebody else a lesson when you're just fucking up. Okay? And I argue even all of Stu's fuck-ups could be attributed to his need to stick it to me, because he hurt my emotions and I don't know how to process that, so it's going to be here forever, and I'm not going to process it to teach him a lesson, but I'm teaching myself a lesson, and I don't care. Like, talk about some CBT shit. Like, cognitive behavioral therapy shit, dude. Oh, it's all backwards. I think like an idiot, but I keep thinking I'm smarter than... The first thing you need to learn as a malignant narcissist, if you dumb assholes are watching this, is when you're diagnosed with it, you're a malignant narcissist. You don't get to deny it. The second thing you need to learn about being a malignant narcissist is you're not superior, because normal beings can process their shit. You can't do that. You're inferior. That's how that works. The third thing you need to learn is you're not good at reading people. You're just really good at manipulation. That shit killed me. But that's probably another video. So, these idiots, let's say that the president is actually a god and the devil. So he both wants to hurt me, but he also wants to help me. What does that look like? Probably putting me in jail forever. And that's not helping, that's just ruining my fucking life. So, and let's say this is a Saul type of scenario, how Saul, there's always a way out, and they want you to believe there isn't a way out. The evil guys want you to believe there isn't a way out. I remember Stu said this is all a game, so if it's a game, then there's always a way to win the game, and I kind of lean into they just want me to start shooting them, because I know for a fact, if you know what, we're not gonna get into that. They watch this video, oh god, he's gonna do to us as we did to him. Oh no. Like, yes, you stupid fucks. So, we're assuming the Utah Angels case was fucked up because these idiots were too busy trying to stick it to me, and that's how their brain works, spite brain, and their spite brain supersedes everything. I remember the belly girl now and exactly why Stu force-fed her to death. I remember this weird conversation while I was in an altered state where Stu expressed that he was jealous. Yeah. And then he expressed that he doesn't know how far love can go, so he wanted to see her literally eat to death, believing I loved her. And that was his fucking thing, and he explained that to me. And I remember explaining that to the blue-eyed guy, but the blue-eyed guy is a tool. He just does whatever Stu says, so if you ask him about it, he's gonna fucking say whatever Stu told him to say. Like, because these guys don't, once again, they don't get to... So, anyways, that was a bit of a tangent. So spite brain and sticking it to you is way more important than anything else. So, let's say a large number of the church leaders want the church to continue, and they want to plow babies and pretend to be human beings forever, okay? But let's say there's a group of them that don't want that. And I'm not saying that they're good, and even my logic, like, they get released into society, they will inevitably murder people, but assuming the church goes away, they won't have anybody to cover up their shit. They also won't have blue guys to help them, so they're going to be really fucked as human beings. I remember the president saying he's just trying to defend his children. So let's assume that every church leader is his child, and the reason they stole my presidential pardon is because I'm an N-word, and regardless of how this goes, they definitely want me to, they don't want me to win, and that's how the entire game is rigged, is there is no winning for me, and it's, I guess, to teach me a lesson. So, either they're gonna murder my ass as a human sacrifice, or I'm gonna end up in jail. And let's talk about that. Let's say that there's a group of people trying to manipulate me into turning myself in through fear, and, like, let's say Blondie's trying to make me jealous. He's so cute, he actually thinks I give a fuck about my emotions. This is what happens when you're a femboy. You care about your emotions and you meet somebody like me that doesn't, and these guys are the worst femboys because they pretend like they don't care, but they actually do. They're so cute. So, there's a bunch of people trying to convince me to try and turn myself in so I can go to jail, take down the church so that they can go and actually be free, which is what America's founded on, freedom, not being part of a totalitarian church where you're forced to do horrible shit because you're all imbeciles and everybody's a victim of their own religion. I remember the wives told me, like, you have to stick together and we're all in this together. It's an enmeshment. It's an enmeshment. What they're talking about is an enmeshment, okay? I'm not interested. That's how stupid people think. And look, you either join the church and are eternally miserable, or you go live your fucking life. Okay? The reason these people do drugs is because they're miserable. That shit would Stu in high school, and everybody's addicted to opioids. Why are they like that? Because they're fucking miserable. And Stu, I'm a great reading people. You're horrible at reading people because you'd understand why everybody's addicted to opioids. They're in pain. Mental pain. Not physical. So, and yes, opioids do help mental pain. Because pain is processed by the same parts of the brain. The more you know. So, they're the victims, but they want to stick it to me and teach me a lesson by putting me in jail. Which is stupid, because you think that helping me, which would be the smart thing to do, but they're not gonna, because they have to teach you a lesson. And I remember this from one of the Malignant Narcissist videos, is whenever you're nice to these people, they have to be nasty to you, because they have to know that your love is unconditional. That they can do whatever they want, whatever atrocity, and you'll love them because daddy didn't fucking love them. And once again, they have control issues because they were raped, and these dumb assholes, they're constantly scared, paranoid, because they're trying to create a war where their dumbasses are going to go out and murder people, but they're also going to be eternally fucking miserable. Like, I just, everything for the misery machine. Everything for the misery machine. But okay, you're the victims of your own rules, because I remember even as president, the God had to follow rules, which is the stupidest shit I've ever fucking heard in my entire fucking life. Like, holy shit, was that fucking dumb. But yeah, that's how you know. Oh, God's also a slave to the system? Oh, man. Dude. Okay. So, now, I don't even know for sure if turning myself in or doing all the shit I did would actually do anything. And mind you, because these guys have to follow the rules, there's going to be an army of them trying to stop me and murder my ass. To make sure that these people are eternally immiserated in their own misery, because they have to mindlessly follow the rules, because they're mindless. They don't fucking think. Okay? They like being stupid. Ugh. They're lead brain retards. I don't... Holy shit. So... I guess the decision, this is the free will part, where I go, I'm going to turn myself in, and then they go, we got you, we knew you were going to turn yourself in, and you went to jail. Or I go, I'm going to let you guys kill me, and then, we got you, we knew you were going to kill you, we're smart. Like, When you ignore the immaturity, and the truth is, I don't let fear make my decision, so when I think about this, it is a big, why on earth would I help you people when you've been absolutely disgusting? That's my question. The truth is, if you just gave me some money, or you just, like, did something good. And I remember this lie, like, the lies these people tell. I remember Blondie telling me, like, something about pulling the perjury. He was gonna, no, you fucking weren't. Okay, it's the same way you trick the wives. The church is going to kill you unless you marry me. I got Bobby's sex harem. The only thing Blondie cares about is his sex harem. The majority of the malignant narcissists only care about their sex harem because their love bombing bullshit only goes so far. They can't keep a functioning relationship because it's an enmeshment. And the women figure out, this fucking sucks, I'm leaving. Okay? That is their defectiveness. And that's why they have to keep the women under contract in their human trafficking. But honestly, this is all my decision. And I really don't know which way I'm supposed to go. What would Bobby do?